And I don't have the same urge, let's say, like Kirti Bhai is a driver, he is trying to drive the agenda. And I welcome that, and somebody has to be in the driving seat. So, and I do not also have the benefit of the global, engagement that all of you are engaged with. So it is from there that I mentioned that, where my engagement begins, and that's why I said that I can talk only from that vantage point and not from the vantage point which both of you, Shipra or Kirtibai, have talked. Because I want to use my advantage, like you people have used your advantage. Okay?
Sure.
And I haven't had the benefit of traveling through train as well, and neither through flight. I have only traveled from Green Park, Greater Kailash to here. Uh, you know. Now, let's understand that we all are together because we are wanting to engage with this whole agenda, the pathway that which has been unfolding before us from almost 80s onwards. At least I've seen it in the NCR region, the National Capital Region, unfolding it with the way the whole NCR expanded westward, eastward, both directions, Gurgaon, Mewar, this whole area. Initially, when it was industrializing, there was Modi Nagar, there was Ghaziabad, India. But 80s was not the phase of industrialization. In fact, deindustrialization has occurred during 80s, 90s, and 2000. Industrialization was also driven by capital, which is a very powerful force. Let's identify that. And that same force is driving the post-80s agendas also, the 90s agenda. They're trying to drive surplus value out of the infrastructure that you are trying to create. They're accumulating through that. There's a secondary circuit of accumulation. There's a primary circuit of capital accumulation which is unfolding through the process of industrialization. And here there is this, there also this, processes were to be understood, since at the moment those processes are not very much in force, which are not driving. I want to talk largely about the 80s agenda. One can have a whole understanding of what was happening prior to 80s. But the post-80s, as I see, is that there is a search from the capital side for cheap nature, cheap labor, and cheap regulation. Calcutta, he said, ecologically subsidized, cheap nature. Capital seeks cheap nature. Doesn't bother about the ecological dimension. Well, Amravati, Vikram is here, who's been talking about natural cities and alternate agenda. It will not suit them because ecological dimension to them, even if it's to be taken care of, it is environmental, it is in the new buildings with new standards of etc. But when it comes to total habitat, neither wetlands count for them. And we've seen it in case of Gurgaon, which is a dark city now in terms of water, and which I am trying to now engage as far as it's concerned. Today also it's least important. The GMDA, the Gurgaon Metropolitan Development Authority Bill 2016, which was a good bill. And Gurgaon is I don't know whether it's part of a metro, it's a 1 million town. A little more than that. Its population is 23 lakhs or so, and some people counted with the total region 40 lakhs as far as this is concerned. But essentially, if you Gurgaon city, you talk it's 10 lakhs. So it's a 1 million town. What it does is commissioner want a GMDA driven by the urban minister Indrajit Rao Indrajit, because Venkata Naidu's car stopped on the way, so a GMDA bill comes. Why? Because there was an urban flooding. So they want to sort out urban flooding through what route? They said GMDA route. What was GMDA route? In the GMDA, you had a traffic management plan, but no water management plan. So you keep drawing water as much as you want, no regulation required on that, no planning required on that. So cheap regulation, cheap nature, cheap regulation. We saw the consultation on the GMDA, the Gurgaon Metropolitan Development Authority, the DLF, the ANSALs and the Unitax and the Vatica, all these people talking to the commissioner very positively responding to them. Saying, what you're saying? ये रास्ता, वो वहाँ पे हमें दे दो, we want to develop it. They are developers. Those developers are least bothered about what happens to public services, what happens to the ecological dimension on which a city is based. All cities were based near rivers and water sources and so on, etc. Historically speaking, as far as this is concerned, because yeah, isn't so. So the point is, here are new planners, here are new umpires. In that, cheap regulation is sought because they're listening to the only developers whose needs they are meeting. The third is cheap labor they want. We've seen that process taking place from displacement of people from Delhi city, even in 83, 84, 85, Sanjay Gandhi period onwards, those who have been part of this city, I can't talk same about Mumbai. Mumbai, the same thing has, I'm sure the people will have to tell the stories, intimate stories, they would know about it. I know the intimate stories of this NCR region as far as is concerned. And that displacement, we have thrown people out to Bhavanas and whatnot. There are no more mixed settings. So let's understand with whom are we engaging. I think we're not talking about that. With all due respect and modesty, I think if we do not understand with who our enemy is or with whom are we engaging, whether we want a foot in the door or whether we are wanting anyway, otherwise, let's understand with whom are we engaging, with what kind of pathways we are engaging. Scale and speed, for whom? Dialogue with whom? For what? Is the key question which we need to resolve. Having made this point, let me move to the next point, because there's a limited time. One can expand, build on this. Because degeneration of institutions flows from that, whether it's local self-governments or cooperative federalism is, if less said the better about this, what it is. We saw it in Delhi. Now, I am taking examples from Delhi. A 10-year MCDs which did not perform have won with a massive majority. And as far as the question, the cooperation between AAP and MCDs and the central government was to be seen.
And we voted for the same thing.
I know I didn't vote for them. I voted for AAP.
We.
I voted for AAP, and I make it explicitly. And when I went to vote, not that I'm totally satisfied with AAP, but I did not want to vote for people who have not performed for 10 years. So the question is, this engagement, I'm trying to learn from where we are at the moment, and are people to be mobilized by the civic society, the engagement, are we able to make them clear with that whose pathway you are wanting to contest? With whom are you contesting, and how will you contest them? Contestations are not, if you are putting a foot in this door, you are wanting to contest there, and I fully agree with whether advocacy, monitoring, dialogue, knowledge, innovation. I fully agree with that as far as it is. I have no quarrel with that, any of the proposition Shipra or Kirtibhai. Moderates and radicals both have a space in the world, long-term dynamic. Solidarity takes time, social relations take time to build, engagements don't happen in a day. These are rishtas which take a lot of time to come on the ground. Parties building or any other political processes building or social processes, we know there are whole zigzag processes. We have seen it. Some of us have been active in this whole political social processes. Now, so when we are taking the next step, Kirti Bhai, please, firstly, really bring out with whom are you engaging, what are they doing, and why, how do you are going to contest them, and what are you going to contest them? I am little, I have a discomfort when we say these documents have done this. I have a discomfort with that. I think these documents are legitimizing something which we should be opposing. And we must bring out what they are actually, these documents, what they are actually. What are they, what their aim is. Their aim is not good. Their aim is something else. That is to legitimize exploitation, exclusion, and everything. Can we bring that out? Then only people will understand it. It's a request. Because you are in driver's seat, I have accepted you as my leader.
मैं तो कंडक्टर हूँ यार।
कंडक्टर रहो, ड्राइवर रहो, कुछ भी रहो,
टिकट तो आप ही काटते हो।
लेकिन टिकट आपने काटना है। और मेरे को यदि जो इसलिए कह रहा हूं ना, इसलिए नहीं क्योंकि आई रियली रिस्पेक्ट people who have engaged whole lives in this agenda. No, my aim is not to belittle or even undermine or effort. Because I know I myself, if somebody undermines my effort, I also feel not good. If not, though of course one should critically reflect. That's the aim. Aim is not to react, but aim is to reflect. And I want us to reflect. So, and in the process of reflection, when we say reflexivity is to be shown, then I say I want to create a space for a new pathway or a set of multiple new pathways. Who will drive these pathways? Who will be the carriers of these pathways? How are these pathways in what regimes they are going to be located? What kind of niches that I can create? Because I need new carriers. Corporate world, private capital, unlikely to be my carrier for my pathway. Then am I building that? Let me ask that question. If you don't have a social force which is able to counter it, I'm sorry, we are not going to go very far. Then people may say sell out, people may say a variety of things as far as is likely to happen. But if we are able to create a force on the ground, and this is my not quarrel with any one political trend. The trends, including which I have been very much part of, my trouble is even with those trends because we did not look at what alternate carriers are to be created. We were either we are saying we are state and capital to be countered by not by dispersed crowds, by organized forces for innovation, for advocacy, for dialogue, for monitoring. What is that organized force we are wanting to create? Can we create it in the process? Even when we do monitoring of Amrut or Smart City, and I'm really not going to be there tomorrow because I'm traveling to Hyderabad. So I am wanting to tell you that when you do it, let's do it in a manner that we are able to create a set of new carriers who will be there in 100 cities, the People's Cities campaigns or other campaigns, so that organized force that should be there on the ground and we should be able to locate it. And that's why I appreciate the effort that you are wanting to do. This is my suggestion that when you monitor Amrut, when you monitor Smart City, when you monitor housing program for all, this engagement, I'm afraid, will not be limited to monitoring. Because if you want to create a new set of carriers and a new force on the ground to contest this very powerful capital which is trying to accumulate, and accumulation through cheap labor, cheap nature, cheap regulation, more freedom, more space for them to look for spaces, and I know my enemy, then I'm going to say, where am I? Because on their terrain alone, if I try to, I will not be able to create a force. The force is created when you look for spaces which they can't capture. But you actually can build there. Because there their power doesn't run. It's a different source of power. In formal economy, for example, the debate which is taking place today on the internet, Kirtibai, Romi, Dunu, Sandeep faced it 2 months ago in the mail. Those who are not part of these mail structures won't know these cryptic remarks from me, you know.
What was your remark? Please say.
No, my aim is not that. My aim is to bring that informal, cities are made by city makers, construction workers, various set of people they constitute the city, variety of them, the marginalized, the people as far as it's concerned. This is where we will have to locate our carriers. This is where we'll have to create a force, whether homeless or anybody. Organize them. Because capital only creates them. Capital does not empower them. So even if you are doing reconfiguring urban planning and governance, that you say, okay, fine, where is this carrier of mine, where this force of mine, how is it going to play a role, what role it can play? That's the question which we need to prioritize. And I hope if we prioritize, then obviously beyond monitoring, because alone they would not be interested in monitoring. They will ask, what is in it for me, Kirti Bhai? How do I play a role? What role can I play in this reconfiguring of urban planning and governance? What kind of role I can play in urban landscape being reconfigured, the place making? What kind of place I'm trying to create? What new pathways they will own up. Ownership. They need to be owners of those pathways, not you and me alone. And civic empowerment. Whose empowerment and through what? These are to me the 4 pillars. Civic empowerment, reconfiguring of urban planning and governance, and urban landscape being changed in favor of precisely giving power to whom. And I've said to whom you want to give power. Urban placemaking. Placemaking means creating new relations, new power structures which I want to create. We need different types of power. We need disruptive power also. We need to disrupt some of these programs because they are in favor of capital. Let me tell you that. Whether smart city, Amarut, we want to disrupt them. I need disruptive power. I need innovative power to show that what kind of innovations are possible with whose local resources access which I want to get. I want to constitute power. I want to intervene in laws, authorities, structures which constitute a regime, a stable pattern, institutions. And I want, finally, a political agenda. If political parties, democracy, variety of those particular actors with whom you are going to hopefully engage with. How many political parties made even a discussion? What was the slogan? Here the smart city was, there was an India, Mulchand, there was a hoarding. I don't know whether you people have noticed that word. The debate was, we are going to create a smart city in this. What smart city is not. And there was another line, I don't know whom they were countering, saying we'll provide jhulas, swings. This is the engagement, of the BJP, which has won a huge majority in this city.
CCTV in every MCD school.
Swings everywhere. झूलो और झूमते रहो. So The question is, can we expose them? Did we intervene? I also did not intervene sufficiently. I will not claim that I did a great job and others have not done it. But I'm saying is, can we do that exposure? Disruptive power comes from there. Innovative power is locate where to whom you want to strengthen innovation through that. Then I want to constitute, I want to, what kind of institutions, what are we creating through smart city? SPVs, the new special purpose vehicles, which are most undemocratic vehicles one can think of. So you know, the question, I think I have, my 10 minutes must be over by now. Long ago. But Baneshwari was very kind to me, and thank you very much. I really would say that please enlarge, broaden the agenda from monitoring further down to actually creating a new force. Thank you very much.